is 7 p.m. Betty, at this time, could you read the Declaration of Electronic Meetings?
Yes. On March 31st, 2020, the Middlesex Board of Supervisors ratified a declaration of emergency issued by the county's Director of Emergency Management and adopted an ordinance to ensure continuity of county government. A copy of this ordinance can be found on the county's website under Board of Supervisors Ordinances number 81. These procedures include the ability for the Board of Supervisors and other county public entities to conduct electronic meetings. Information on how to access these meetings by video and telephone is posted on the county website. This ordinance was extended on May 5th, 2020, and again on November 4th, 2020. The provisions of the ordinance and electronic meetings is in effect for a period of 6 months unless amended, rescinded, or readopted by the Board of Supervisors. Electronic recording and audio recording, is being made of the meeting, which will be linked from the county's website. Notice of the meetings along with access information has been posted on the county's website and at the front of the historic courthouse. An electronic meeting link was also sent to those persons that have asked to be part of the board's agenda list. As each person joins the meeting, the public audio will be muted to avoid background noise and the board and staff audio will be open. If a meeting calls for public comment, the chairman will announce the meeting is open for comments and public lines will be unmuted. Those with an audio connection should use *9, which will notify the moderator that you wish to comment. To unmute your own phone, you should use *6. Those with video capability are to use the raise hand feature to be recognized by the chair. Each person will be given 3 minutes to speak and each speaker must identify themselves when speaking. All votes will be by roll call and recorded in the minutes. Board members who leave the meeting or arrive must verbally note their attendance. If all board members are not joined by video, a roll call will be made every 2 hours to confirm a quorum.
All right, do any board members have any questions about this process? If not, the purpose of the meeting is to adopt the FY 2022 budget. All right, at this time, any board member that like to have to say anything or would like to
We need to have a
make a
roll
motion?
call.
Oh yeah, we got roll call. I'm jumping the gun. Roll call.
Mr. Kimbrough,
Here.
Mr. Mansfield,
Here.
Mr. Williams,
Here.
Mr. Coons,
Here.
Mr. Jesse.
Here, we have a quorum. All right. At this time, if any board members would like to say anything or make a motion to approve the budget or whatever, I'm opening the floor up at this time.
Just a comment. This has been a very difficult budget. And we've talked about the constraints we're working under, not wishing to increase or make any changes to the real estate tax, given the assessment that we don't know what the outcome is. I want to thank everybody for working on a way to try and make ends meet without drawing too heavily on our reserves, but still to keep making progress towards the future that we're working on together. I was surprised that there was no public comment when we held that meeting last week, and I'm not sure how to interpret that, but I feel like we've worked hard on this. We started out at the beginning of January. We put a lot of time into it, and just want to thank everybody for the hard work. I would move that we adopt the fiscal 21-22 budget as proposed.
Yeah.
I will second that.
All right.
Okay, gentlemen, we actually have a draft motion that you
Right.
may want to read. I'm going to ask Betty or Anne Marie to email that to you, Lud.
I'm prepared to read that, Lud. If you want to rescind your motion just for formality's sake, I have it ready.
Okay, yeah, I'll rescind my motion.
And just while we have a comment period before I read the motion, Reggie or Wayne, did you have anything else that you wanted to say?
Well, like I said, I'm the chairman. I'm running this right now. And you say what you need to say, And then, we can go on like that. So, say whatever you need to say at this time.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to Lud's point, I also was surprised there was no public comment. And while I'd like to take that as positive affirmation from the community, I did have the opportunity Tuesday to present the budget to the Rotary Club, and the feedback was similar. There were some questions. I was able to answer almost all of them. But the recommendation that I made to the Rotary Club, and I would suggest it's a good recommendation for all of us to make to constituents in general, is meetings for clubs like Rotary or any groups that want to learn about where the budget is are more appropriate in March than they are in April. Have them whenever you want, but when we're in the process of deliberation is the time for you as constituents to understand this is what we're thinking about, rather than at the 9th hour. And I just think the average constituent doesn't really follow the budget schedule, but it maybe falls to us as their supervisors to suggest that March is really the time to get active and be looking at what we're considering so that you can give us your feedback, because we certainly do want it. That's all I had to add before I would offer the motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
I got a few things I want to say. Well, I gotta agree with Lud and John as far as there was no public comment, but I wasn't exactly surprised. I've been looking at this budget and talking to different residents of the county, and I've been getting calls and stuff, and we're at a point now that we got to do something, for next year. Looking at the first part of the budget, I started off with a couple of things. We got to learn how to do more with less, as simple as saying. We got to learn to help each other. And I'm finding that we are not organized as we should. Our communication is broke down a little bit. It seems like we can't get the truth out of sometime when you're asking it. I don't fully understand that the flow back to information back to me when I ask a question. I know last year was a slow year. We had COVID. I haven't seen really nobody, I'm hearsay that they're turning money back in, which will go into the fund balance. And things like that make a difference in the numbers here. A lot of people ask me at the end of the schedule, they're talking about $750,000 here and there. I said, well, we don't need to look here, but my biggest thing right now is that, we talk about the 5%. And I probably would not have clarity on that I would accept. I think I asked the question to different ones about the 5%. I said we had a pocket of money, and it cost the county about $500,000, not the county, the taxpayers, to get $64,000. I asked the question 2 or 3 times, could that be divided equally? If someone got to give 60% and you give 40%, and I give it to you, and we don't want to co-manage anything, but I'd like to see some type of equality. But I know it's not going to be no equality according to what I've seen in the numbers. And the thing that really bothered me was retirement. If you take your retirement working from the same system, and a person making more money than the other person, then the person making more money get a greater percentage than the one that's making less. These kind of things we got to fix. We can't just talk about it. And when I say a pot of money, what we're going to do in years, I'm thinking years down the road, I see some things going to work itself out. But just like they talked to one time before, they talked about they're going to raise minimum wage. Well, we have opportunity this time to do something about it because we had a pot of money, we'll be ahead of the game. But we decided it's not our decision. And then it is our decision because we are for the taxpayers. The Board of Supervisors, it's not us, it's the taxpayers. So the things that we got to do and the decisions that we got to make got to be based on what's best for the taxpayers in the county. And sometimes we get ourselves in a hard spot because of more what we want than what we got. We're not creating, say, how can we get revenue for the county versus just spending revenue? If you take notice, everybody keep asking for more. They don't realize that we're going into the fund balance and they're not even changing their mind. They're not doing anything different. They come into the county taxpayer and say, We need more money. Well, we are lucky now because we got borrowed money into the fund balance that we're gonna end up paying back. And we know how it got there. Most of the people in the county might not know. So we're taking out our checking account, the county's checking account, to balance this budget. And people got their hands out, so we really can't do the small things to help small people of the county like we should. So yeah, I got a lot of things about doing more with less. Make sure you pay your proper share of your taxes. It's a tax increase this year on automobiles. I do not like the tax increase because all of us know it's gonna go up next year. Even the ones I talk to. It's probably hard to come in and not talking. I talk to a lot of people. And I say, hey, your taxes are gonna go up next year. And I say, if you don't understand it, let me tell you simply. I'm not talking about the 62%, throw that out. I say, if you're paying $100 this year, well, next year you can pay 105. I said, that's how I want you to understand it because I'm finding out that people that are working in the county don't understand their retirement. They don't understand the increase. Then if we as officers of the county, as we as leaders, we can't get better unless we know our operation. We waste because we don't know our operation. Once we know our operation, we know what we need to do, and we know what we can do. I'm gonna say this last thing, and I'm gonna thank Lud for that because I've never gave up on the thought about this high deductible. I met a gentleman staying in the county that retired out of Richmond. He had 350 or 360 some employees. When he left, they had 65. We was talking about high deductible insurance. And he said, you know, my plant took high deductible insurance. We found out what each individual need. And what they done by saving, negotiating on the insurance itself, they took that money and put it in their pot. So if somebody had to use the deductible, that they actually wouldn't have to pay it out their pocket. That's pretty cool. But you think about what we doing with it. We can't even give away a used car unless you're gonna buy two more. But that's all I got to say about it.
Well, thank you for it, Reggie. Yeah, I guess the many years I've been on this board, you know, and I guess through 2021 with the COVID and everything going on, when you get CARES money, and then you gotta look at, you know, the CARES money's there, but then that's just gonna add on more to your budget next year. That's not gonna be there. And, you know, it's just been a tough year. I can tell you that. And I just look at it and you know, I know there's a lot of needs and a lot of wants and there's things that, you know, needs to be done. I mean, there's more, you know, I even look at the fire department. There's needs for the fire department. They do, you know, and not just once, but it very needs to keep the fire departments up again, because you got to look at it now. Some of the departments are getting older, and if you think the county going to take up all the, you know, some of the 100 volunteers that we have with the fire department, see, we got to look at them. There's a lot of things going on in the county that we know that we're going to have to take another sharp look at. I even look over at the sheriff department. That little small room over there, they definitely going to need more room and be up to code, you know, and there's a lot of things that's going on that we need to be done. But anyway, I feel that all the board members has spoke their piece. And the last thing I just want to say, you know, you may, trees may be, money might be made from trees, but you just can't keep making money and spending, you know, because that's all I can say, you know. It just look like we just keep spending. And somewhere along the line, you know, we gotta be a little bit more wise. And I kind of agree with what Reggie said, you know, just like you said, you know, work more with less. All right. I think all the board members had something to say. John?
Yep. Mr. Chair, I move we adopt the 2021-22 general fund budget as advertised in the amount of $29,442,838. This includes $10,371,514 as local funds for school operations fund, $1,160,138 for school debt service, $69,733 for the school textbook fund, and $75,000 for school capital improvements. Further, I move we adopt the tax rates as advertised, which includes an increase in personal property tax on vehicles from $2.10 to $2.60 per $100 assessed value, and an increase in personal property tax on jet skis, recreational vehicles, campers, and apportioned trucks from $1.75 to $2.60 per $100 assessed value, and all other personal property classifications and real estate tax rates remain at current rates.
All right, we have a motion by John Coons. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by John Coons, probably second by Lud Kimball. Roll call at this time.
Mr. Mansfield,
Aye.
Mr. Williams,
No.
Mr. Kimbrough,
Aye.
Mr. Coons,
Aye.
and Mr. Jesse.
No. Motion so carried, budget so carried. All right, at this time, does any board member have anything else to say?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I learned something today that I thought it would make sense for me to just bring to the attention of the board for clarification purposes. As you know, I've been working last year and this year to make sure that the Mill Creek Landing is open for recreational fishermen as well as our watermen and those that use that public access ramp by DGIF. It was my understanding, and I may be completely mistaken, that we had consented as a board to authorize me to continue as I did last year at no cost to the county, getting that dredged. And I just want to make sure I'm not wrong so that I can work with the county administrator and DGIF and NOAA and all of the other agencies to go ahead and get my permits in place. So I would just ask if we could confirm my understanding that we had consented for me to move forward with clearing that ramp at no cost to the county as I did last year with the help of many others.
Right, yeah, my understanding, that's how it was before, you basically was consent and, at no cost to the county.
Is there anyone?
That's where I remember.
I guess what I'm asking, Mr. Chair, is does anyone see that differently? And the reason it's so important that I would raise it here is it's going to be May this weekend. And if I can't keep moving forward with the permits that I need and I have to wait till the next meeting, it's only going to further delay the use of that facility. And I'd like to keep moving forward. And I thought I had that consent.
Right. Well, I think it's a good idea because, things are picking up. Some people need to get access to the water. So can we get a consensus from the board?
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great contribution to the watermen and the recreational last year. It's frustrating that that sand filled back in, but thank you for the extra work that you've done to make that possible, John, and are doing again until we get a more permanent solution.
Yes, thank you, John.
Thank you, yeah, thank you, John. Thank you, John. No
Okay,
cost
Matt.
to the county. I like that.
Yeah, I appreciate it, all of you. Matt, does that give you what you need to move forward, or do you want to take that offline with me tomorrow morning?
Yeah, I just want to make sure the board understands it's going to involve some staff time. But if this is the will of the board, the staff will see it through.
Yeah, go ahead, go for it.
I'll bet $10 it'll take more of my time than staff time for what it's worth.
All right.
I'll voluntarily lose that bet and pay you that $10 there, John.
Pete, hadn't heard anything from you. You okay?
Yes, I just spoke, as a matter of fact.
Okay, all right. So there's consensus from the board. Anything else on the mind with the board at this time? I just kind of want to poll, how we going to open up, but we can do that, at our May meeting on that part. But because basically we're talking about the budget right now. All right, if it's no more, everybody's mind's clear, we have no more questions. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by John. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Pete. Motion by John, probably second by Pete. Roll call.
Mr. Coons,
Just want to say in the discussion prior to my vote, I want to thank staff. Staff time did go a lot into this budget, and it's appreciated. I know this was hard on supervisors, but it was also hard on staff. So thank you. Aye.
Mr. Kimbrough,
Aye.
Mr. Mansfield,
Aye.
Mr. Williams,
Uh,
and Mr. Jesse.